Welcome to the special presentation this week titled Stress Testing the Worry-Free Investing Challenge Winners Second Place. Our contest was a nail-biter, only settled on the last day at the close of the market, an exciting conclusion to what has been a very rewarding contest. Over 92% of our entries made money, which is a wonderful validation of the strength of RS. And as Dr. DeLito wrote in his essays, it's also a testament to the creativity and innovative ideas of our subscribers. Last week, we reviewed our third place winner, who was also able to make real-time gains of over 14% in just 3 months of live trading. At that pace, he would have achieved over 57% annualized. No hypotheticals, no backtesting, real trading. We'll continue this week with our second place winner, TPW. As before, I'll review with you the searches, portfolios, and trading plans of our three winners and provide trading templates to make them easy to replicate at home. Tonight we continue our series with our second place finisher, TPW. Here we see that overall they had a 10.23% gain, 100% winners, an annualized rate of return of 40.63%, compounding at 47.23%, a maximum drawdown of just 1.62%, an efficiency score of 98.38. That gave them a Kalmar ratio of 29.19 and a portfolio score of 219.49. Interesting to note, the day prior, TPW had been in fourth place by portfolio score, but moved up 2 positions in the final day of trading as the top 4 portfolios all were within 20 points of each other in terms of portfolio score. TPW first hit the radar on our weekly roundups on June 9th when it was noticed for its highest score due in large part to its 100% winners percentage and high efficiency score, which it's maintained right through the end of the contest. We see that balance played out between second, third, and fourth places in that ADJ and TLJ had higher gains. ADJ had that same 100% winning trade percentage, but the difference was in drawdown, in that ADJ had a drawdown almost 3 times the size of TPW. And while TLJ's was more competitive, their winning percentage was only at 80%. And that's how the scoring system is supposed to work, how it tries to balance gain and efficiency. But in the macro view, double-digit gains with low drawdowns, I'd be happy with any one of these top performers. Here is the actual contest portfolio still running in VectorVest 7. I want to give you a feel for the equity curve over the contest period, which of course ended at the end of July. But this is really a nice equity curve, consistently making gains, very little volatility, very minimal drawdown. All reflective of those high efficiency scores we saw on the score sheet. However, I will have you note that this portfolio is only holding 2 stocks. In fact, if we look at its trading history, by looking at the transaction log, we see that at any time it only bought 4 stocks. The 4th stock was bought after the end of the contest period. So a pretty restrictive trading plan. However, I will note that the 2 stocks that it's holding were pretty good picks with ROIs of 109 and 67% each. CWEI is in the petroleum sector and SSRI is in the mining sector. So let's find how TPW found these gems. Let's review the contest entry. Here's their backtest entry as submitted to the contest. First thing we notice that we're not using a timing list, so we'll be long all the time, buying and replacing positions regardless of market conditions. Of course, they had 50% winners, an overall gain of 1,039%. Total commissions at a very low $1,313.40. That works out to be a very low trading frequency of about once a month. While our annualized rate of return at 53% was very nice, our drawdown was at a fairly elevated 44.46%. Looking at the graph, most notably, we see the drawdown in 2007-2008, but also notice in the late 90s we also had some significant drawdowns as well. But I also noticed that the performance of this portfolio really accelerated from 2013 through the end of the test period. Let's take a look at the search. First thing we note is that we have increased our minimums for price and volume to $5 and 250,000 shares, and that we're filtering by all the major exchanges. But the heart of the search lies in these middle three parameters. Beginning with our first line, we're going to build a list from 10 weeks ago of 400 stocks that had the best improvement of their CI score over the previous 30 days. Next, we're also going to build a list of 400 stocks from 5 weeks ago that have had the best improvement of their CI score over the previous 15 days. And finally, scanning today's data, or the search day's data, let's build a list of 400 stocks that have had the biggest price drop over the last 5 days. Now, because the unit search builds and statements, we want to find the stocks that are on all three lists that have a price higher than $5 and average volume over 250,000 shares of average volume. This is a very restrictive search. In fact, if I run it on today's date, I find no results. And this is the reason it only found 3 stocks during our contest period, solid as those trades turned out to be. Now, if you like this idea of trying to find high RS stocks that have rising CI values, you might also consider some searches that are in the database like rising CI stealth stocks or CI up-and-comers for ideas on finding these kinds of rising CI performance metrics. But let's also quickly review the trading rules. Remember, we're not using any timing system, so we'll always be long. We'll, of course, use our TPW search and a stop criteria of VST less than 0.89. So this will react more slowly than a price-borne stop loss, and of course, we're really looking for a breakdown in that VST score. When we go to more settings, we found the usual suspects, limiting the stocks to 2 stocks per industry, 2% of the average volume. Next, it was time to run TPW through our stress test. Remember, our stress test consists of sliding start analysis. That's where we vary the start date and hold to a common end date. In this case, we chose to test a date range from 2010 to the end of July of this year, varying the start date on a 1-year interval. Here are the results for TPW. Let's begin with the base run that covered the overall time frame from 2010 through the end of July 2016. Here we'll note that we were able to obtain 44.05% winners, had a total gain of 108.43% with commissions of $1,572, annualized rate of return of 16.49%, compounding at 11.82%, and a max drawdown of 30.71%. Looking at the equity curve, we see the trading plan really struggled through the end of 2012, but as we saw in our original test bed, really flourished from 2013 through the middle of 2015. It, however, has struggled in the late 2015 to 2016 time frame. These drawdowns might be improved by incorporating some tighter stops. So remember, we made a total of 7 runs, staggering the start date with a fresh basket of stocks at the beginning of each year. Let's take a look at the results. Here's our table indicating the 7 different runs, each of the performance metrics across the table, with the average line averaging all 7 of the data points. So on average, the trading plan delivered a 38.97% winning trade percentage, an average gain of 21.5%, an average annualized rate of return of 2.79%, compounding at 1.52%, and an average maximum drawdown of 35.33%. Overall, we had 5 winning runs, 2 losing runs, and with some pretty sizable drawdowns, this would seem to be the key to managing this portfolio. So use this data to understand when and how the trading plan works, and just as importantly, when it doesn't. Does it need more work for your comfort, or could you ride out some of those big drawdowns? To make it easier for you to make your own studies of our second place winner, we've created a trading system template which includes all the portfolio trading rules as set in the contest portfolio for you to begin. To do that, simply click on your new backtest, select an existing trading system, scroll down to the Worry-Free Investing group, where you'll find our third and second place winners now. For your own assessment, simply click on the trading system to have it loaded into the backtester. Congratulations to TPW for your second place finish, and thank you for your kind attention. We'll be back next week with our first place finisher. Until then, I look forward to being with you again next time.